Now that we are in MW2 Season 3, we are getting closer and closer to the launch of the next raid, Raid Episode 3. Now, it's already confirmed that it is going to be launching with Season 3 Reloaded, which we don't have an exact date for when that's going to be coming out, but more than likely it's going to be midway through May. And if I had to just give you guys a guess at the date, I would say May 17th. And if that turns out to be right, make sure to come back when that's confirmed and let me know how smart I am. Either way though, as we were waiting for the actual launch of episode 3, I thought it'd be interesting just to go over everything we know about this raid and try to figure out a picture for what to expect. And of course, we'll talk about some information that we're already all familiar with that includes the ending cutscene to episode 2, but also I want to talk about stuff that I myself hadn't actually seen until literally the day of me recording this. And where this is coming from is the intel from episode 2. And as you guys probably all know, the intel's a pain to get and the vast majority of people haven't been able to collect it for themselves. But thankfully, there's heroes out there who have collected it and shared it with the world. And with this, we see two very new pieces of information for episode 3 that includes an actual image of the next raid. But before we could get into that intel, let's first remind ourselves where we were left off after episode 2. So in the ending cutscene, we see our characters reach the top of the missile silo, and there we see at the top of the ICBM the nuclear bomb that is kind of broken into and completely disabled. Then a few moments after that, we see a door open, and out of the door comes the guy who disabled the bomb himself, of course that being Alex. After that, he goes on to talk to Farah and tells her that her brother has broken out of prison and is now leading Al-Qatala. Then after that, he tells her of his goals, and what they are is to get back at the Russians, and that she could rather fight with him or fight against him. And that's how that cutscene wraps up. Now, of course, this cutscene gives us some big picture things for the future of the story and future raids. A very important one that's overlooked a lot is that the ICBM, the nuclear bomb that was kind of the focus of the first two raids, is no longer a factor. It's been disabled. It's not going to be useful anymore. That's not going to take off. That was exactly what Alex set off to do, and he was successful at doing that. The other thing is that Alex is now with the group, which is interesting because I wonder how that's going to play off for story and gameplay. Is it now going to become 4-player co-op, or are we going to play with an AI, or is just one of the characters just going to go and take off on their own again or something like that? And of course, the final thing is that we do know at least one of the big bads for the story. That's of course going to be Farah's brother, who's leading Al-Qatala. Now, I did say one of the bads for a reason, because it does seem like he is kind of the main focus for now, but through the intel, you'll see why I said that. But with all of that, that kind of sets the stage for where we were left off after episode 2. And with that, I think it's time to get into the two new pieces of intel that gives us a ton new information. And the first one I want to go over is the actual image of the next raid. But before we talk about this image, I need to give a huge shout out to the guy who shared this with the world, that of course being Contraband S Nails. This guy is an absolute hero, collected all the intel and then shared it for free with the world on the Modern Warfare 2 subreddit. And because of that, I'm going to link his post down in the description below. I recommend you guys head down there and give him an upvote for his work. Either way though, let's get back to the image. So I think the interesting things about this image is that it's still in this concrete area, and even at the bottom of the screen we do see this 70s, 80s style computer, right? And we saw a lot of these computers in episode 2, and it makes sense because, you know, this whole missile silo was a Soviet era missile silo and was made when the computers look like that. And the main reason I bring this all up is because it seems like, much like the transition between episode 1 to episode 2, we're going to directly pick up after episode 2 and get into episode 3. And what that means is that we're still in this missile silo. And this is a bit confusing to me because why are we still here? Like, I honestly thought we were going to see some time jump to a different point or something like that after episode 2, because like, what else could we do here? The missile's already disabled. Like, we saw that it was disabled, and we even have intel confirming that it was disabled. So what exactly can we do here? If I had to give a guess, my only guess would be is that in episode 3 we're just escaping the missile silo now. That's about it. Like, I don't really know if there's anything else to really do in this missile silo. Like, I really don't. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, or they're going to reveal something as we get closer to the launch of it, but as of now, I just am questioning the whole reason why we're still there. Now this brings us to the other piece of intel, and this one is very interesting to me in terms of storyline. Now this one's text, so I'll read it off for you guys. We have sent word to our partners across the sea, offered routes, resources, a foothold. They're on their way to Almas. Now, if I'm correct in the assumption that whoever is writing this is a part of Al-Qatala, which I think is pretty safe to say because most things here have been written by Al-Qatala if they were not marked specifically otherwise, then if this is, there's only one other person they could be talking about, or group they could be talking about, because they did say that they have sent word to their partners from across the sea. And who could be Al-Qatala's partners from across the sea? Well, none other than the Almas Cartel. And this would make sense at least from the campaign, because if you guys played the campaign, you would know that there was a connection between Al-Qatala and Las Almas, like they were connected. And considering the story is continued after the campaign, it's safe to say that they at least still have that connection, and maybe even their partners. And if this is all true and I'm correct about all this, this means that Las Almas is going to be playing part in the future of this raid. And that's super interesting for one major reason, because what did we learn at the end of episode 2's raid? Like, that was that Farah's brother escaped prison. Well, what did we learn through the story of season 3? Well, the leader of the Las Almas cartel, Valeria, she escaped prison too. So potentially we could see both of these people having some sort of role in this future of this story's raid. And that could be something that's really fun, and potentially we'd see other campaign characters return, like Alejandro Vargas, or even maybe other ones outside of that. So potentially this could be playing for something really big here. There could be something that is tied to the overall, I guess, seasonal story that we've been seeing outside of the raid, and that could all be tied in sometime in the future. Maybe with episode 3, or maybe in the future. I'm just not sure. Future tell I'm cutting in real quick because I forgot to actually mention this during the recording, but it's actually been confirmed that Las Almas Cartel is actually making its way to Almas. It was said in the intro cutscene. And considering that piece of intel, we heard their partners from across the sea are making their way to Almas. I think this actually does confirm that that is exactly what's happening here. But regardless though, that's everything we know about Raids Episode 3. I'd love to hear what you guys think about all of this, whether it be the location of this raid, what do you think about it, why do you think we're still in this missile silo, or if it has to do with Las Almas, Valeria, and their connection to this raid storyline. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Regardless though, if you guys did find this video informative in any way, shape, or form, then I'd appreciate if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, bell, share, or any of that great stuff. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, whatever the heck it may be, and laters guys.